Good afternoon, everyone. Today is, it's Tuesday, June 15th. I'd like to dedicate this video today to my grandson, little Joe McCowan, and Hills Impact Martial Arts. Shout out to both my instructors, Master Mark Hill and Master Mark Hill Jr. Great schools to attend if you got any grandchildren or you'd like to brush up on your self-defense skills. Reach out to them if you're close to the Dayton or Trotwood vicinity. The purpose of today's video is going to discuss a little bit about over-the-counter medications that I feel you should have on hand. Now, I'm not practicing any medicine here. I'm not a doctor. I'm only going to discuss what works for me. You do have to personalize these meds to suit your needs. I mean, if you're a female, you're going to have basic female hygiene items. If you suffer from sinuses, you're going to have some sort of sinus medicine. But with the current state of affairs with the cyber attacks, I recently learned just this past weekend that McDonald's had got cyber attacked. They were trying to or did get some of the information where people, I guess, use their credit cards to purchase their food, and they were trying to get the credit card information on their customers. And then Puerto Rico had probably almost half their population put into the dark for a period of time. Someone came in, cyber attacked them, ran some sort of power increase to overload one transformer that sends power out to the majority of the population, and it exploded it. And after the explosion happened, everybody was in the dark. And that's just how simple it was. And again, as I've said before, the United States is three power grids. You have the East Grid, West Grid, and Texas. Texas has its own grid. Now, where the dividing line is drawn is right around the Dakotas, South Dakota, North Dakota. You can almost come straight down from the Dakotas, and anything west of the Dakotas is the West Grid. Anything east is the East Grid. Now, I'm in Ohio, so I'm automatically in the East Grid. Of the three grids, the East Grid has the largest density of population. So if that grid gets taken down, it's going to take down the majority of the population of the United States. Now, Chicago is like a hub for the central banks. That would be affected. New York represents Wall Street. That would be affected. And then you got Washington, D.C. that would end up in the dark as well. So to me, this is very serious. There was a study done under Obama administration that showed that the power grid was taken down for extended period of time, say anywhere from 6 months to 2 years, that they felt that 90% of the population would die. We're that dependent upon technology. And a lot of people just don't realize that when that grid goes down, no more water coming in your house, no more power. Takes power to pump the water, takes power to pump the natural gas to you. So there wouldn't be no heat in the wintertime, no air conditioning in the summer. It would mean a lot of bad things that would happen. And then we get, and I don't know if you notice or not, we get a lot of our medications from India and China, mostly China. But China also makes a lot of the off-name brand drugs and prescriptions, and India makes a lot of the off-name brand stuff as well. But that's a long distance for stuff to come. With the cyber attacks right now, they seem to be focusing on the supply chain, trying to create shortages. And so far, they are being pretty effective at creating that. But eventually, they're going to get around to attacking either the banking system to try to create some sort of a financial collapse, or they may even attack the power grid. And that's going to be the ultimate right there. And it's just a matter of time before somebody does it. But going from there, I personally feel that if you're prepared for a grid down scenario, you will be prepared for the majority of situations. You have companies like FEMA, CDC, everyone right now has upgraded their information, and they're saying that everyone should have at least 6 months worth of food and water in their home for in case a grid down scenario or some sort of major disaster occurs that takes down the grid for an extended period of time. Also, FEMA is also recommending that you have at least 3 to 4 months worth of money in your home to pay your bills, because again, the grid comes down, the banks aren't going to be open. And if you find a store that's open, nobody's going to accept your credit cards or your checks that you could write. So the best thing to have is going to be some cash at home, not everything in the bank, because if when the computers go down, you have no way of proving how much money you had in the bank. Now, when you get past the fact that the distance that China and India is away, and then the fact that if the power transformers were taken out, and I'm talking not the small units on the telephone poles, I'm talking about the major ones that pump power to cities. It takes a year to rebuild one, and they have to make them by hand, and those are made in Korea and China. So you have to wonder, will Korea and China try to rush some sort of stuff to us? But I don't want to get too deep into that. But I do want to discuss some things that you should have on hand or things you should be working on. Number 1 is water. Number 2 is food. Number 3 is meds. Number 4 is fuel for your car, for your generators, to be able to have heat during the winter, the first winter that you'd face. Number 5 is some form of self-defense to defend yourself from desperate people, because desperate people will do desperate acts during that time period. And number 6 will be some sort of alternative power, either a generator, solar, wind turbine. But today's video is going to be on the third item, meds. I'm mostly going to discuss over-the-counter medicines today. Now, this is going to be a basic bread and butter. It's not the meat and potatoes. This is just a skeletonized thing of the minimum that I think you should have on hand to be able to treat a lot of skin abrasions, cuts, even skin rashes and stuff. Because when the grid goes down and there's no water coming to your home, how are you going to be able to bathe? How are you going to be able to keep your body clean? Just within a week or two, a lot of people are going to start picking up bacteria on their skin, start getting rashes and stuff. Prior to the invention of soap and people taking baths, a lot of people died at an early age, and it was from basic skin rashes and stuff that, since the advent of soap, no longer exists, but will come back once you get to where you're not keeping your body clean on a regular basis. Even though those rashes start off as a mild rash, they always become infected. They become life-threatening. Any cut that you get that goes untreated can become infected. That turns into something else later and could even mean an amputation or it become life-threatening. But the over-the-counter meds is basically to treat these items to prevent it from being something major later. So first, we're going to start off with the first item. Oh, well, before I get into that, I do want to say that storage of your over-the-counter meds is important. 1, know your expiration dates. Most over-the-counter meds keep for a long time, but there are some that you want to investigate. You want to do your own research or consult a physician to make sure you don't have no allergies to them. But some of them, if they reach their expiration date and they go beyond the expiration date, they just lose their potency. Some do, majority do. You can still use them, but there are others that the chemical composition could change and it can become toxic. That's another reason why you want to do your research now and then acquire the items that are going to be best for your med kits. Because later on, when the grid goes down, you're not going to be able to go out and buy this stuff. And if you do go out, remember how it was to find hand sanitizer or Lysol or toilet paper. With the masses out there going after the same resources, you're not going to be able to get anything. And it could take months before you ever see anything that you would actually need. So Know your expiration dates, know how long the stuff lasts, know if you can use it beyond the expiration date, do that research. And then storage of it's important. If your bathroom or your kitchen area is one of the hottest areas in your house, you don't want to store your OTC meds in that type of environment. You want it to be in a cool, dry place. What I like to recommend is get you some buckets, 5-gallon buckets, and then on top, get you what they call a Gamma Seal lid. As you can see where my finger is, there's a white line going around the outside. That's a watertight gasket. Keeps the environment in here neutral. Keeps your items protected. You can seal it down. You can stack up bucket after bucket. They're easy to stack in the bottom of closets or in a basement or somewhere. You don't have to worry about anything becoming contaminated inside. And it will also keep your objects protected in a temperature environment where it will be kept cool. It can be kept dry. Sunlight will be off of it, because heat and sunlight is a big deterrent against the lifespan of medicines and food. So you definitely want to consider proper storage. And I like to recommend a bucket with a Gamma Seal lid on it. Some people feel that when they go out and buy a first aid kit that they got all that they need. I can tell you right now, those first aid kits, they're great to have, but they don't treat very much. You want to back them up with a lot of other things. So let's get into the over-the-counter meds that you can get. One of the first things, or first two things I like to recommend, is rubbing alcohol and hydrogen peroxide. Now, rubbing alcohol, multiple uses. You can use it for disinfectant. You can use it for sore muscles. The peroxide, and the rubbing alcohol, you can use it to clean wounds with and disinfect different things on the skin. It also kills bacteria. It's antifungal. Same way to hydrogen peroxide. You can treat wounds, and you can use the peroxide even on burns. So if you get sunburn or you get some sort of regular burn from the stove or something, you can put hydrogen peroxide on it. Another thing dealing with burns, I recommend you get some sort of burn gel. Again, great for sunburn, also great for burns, but try to get you some sort of a burn gel. Now, again, as we learned from COVID, got to keep the hands clean because you're constantly touching your face, you're touching food. Want some sort of hand sanitizer and antibacterial soap. And remember, when the grid goes down, there's going to be no water coming to your house. So you got to have some sort of way to distill or get you some water that you'll be able to use, even if you have to collect rainwater. But you got to have soap. So you definitely want to stockpile that. Then you get into medicated powders. One of the medicated powders I like is the Gold Bond. And another one would be zinc oxide powder, but for this video I wasn't able to get that, but I did get the zinc oxide cream that I want to show. And with zinc oxide powder, and say, for example, mineral oil. And mineral oil, you can treat burns, diaper rash, different things. It's good to do your research because you want to learn the different things that you can use the different OTCs for. Now, you can mix some zinc oxide powder with mineral oil, and you can treat skin rashes and stuff with it. If you mix, say, aloe vera powder with mineral oil, that's a great sunburn or, say, for just burns on your skin. That'd be a great thing to have if you can get some aloe vera powder. Now, you also get into topical solutions that you'd want to have for wounds. What I'd like to recommend is Neosporin. and acquire some triple antibiotic ointment. Those are great things to have on hand to treat wounds. If you're dealing with a lot of itch, then or poison ivy or something, I recommend cortisone cream. Again, you can use these things for multiple reasons, but for main treatment of wounds, I definitely recommend that. Now let's get into the NSAIDs. Those are things that gives pain relief, could reduce fevers, could thin out blood, treat different forms of pain in the body, as well as, say, even toothaches. I would recommend Tylenol, Advil, aspirin, and Aleve. And if you're getting elderly like me and you're dealing with a lot of arthritis or different things, then I would recommend you acquire Aleve and Voltaren. Voltaren is a cream, rubs right on, and I've noticed over aspirin cream, it gives me longer relief, and it's a lot quicker to deal with arthritis pain. Then let's get into, let's say, anti-diarrhea. Now, under high stress, most people, they will either get runaway bowels or they're going to get bound up. To deal with runaway bowels, you want to have a specific anti-diarrhea medicine and something to deal with acid, which would be Tums. But also, if someone has acid reflux or they have problems with their stomach producing too much acid, you definitely want to have an antacid on hand. And even Pepto-Bismol would be a great product to have. Now, if the opposite happens and you get bound up, then I like the Philips. And if you're looking for a natural remedy, it's called Senna, Senna. Then I recommend you stockpile products that gives relief to symptoms. You're going to need something to deal with mucus, and I personally like the Mucus DM tablets, and I also have Tussin DM. But then these things also, you want to have something that's going to help you with virus, cold, flus, give some sort of relief to those symptoms, because those symptoms make you miserable. At nighttime, I like the NyQuil. Then I have both Theraflu as well as Tylenol cold and flu. Those products work really great for me. I also have Vicks Vapor Rub. Now, this can help rubbing on someone's chest to help try to break a fever. You can use it to rub up on your nose to try to be a nasal decongestant. If you get mosquito bites, rub it on it, takes the itch out of them. You can also put this on if you're out of insect repellent, mosquito repellent mostly. The main ingredient here, which I think is the menthol, the mosquitoes don't like it, and it'll help keep them off of you. Then another thing that is good, petroleum jelly. If you're treating wounds, or especially burns, and you can also put these on your lips, or you could, if you're out in the field and you're not where a first aid kit comes, you can rub this over your wound, or if you don't have that, chapstick. Chapstick are great for your lips in the extreme heat of the summer, extreme cold of the winter. Your lips can get chapped. Split lips become infected. Infection always turns into something else later, and it is much worse. You can treat your lips with both these products. And you can also take the chapstick on a minor's cut or abrasion. If you're not close to a first aid kit, you can rub it over the wound. It creates a barrier, and it will keep dirt and other stuff out of the wound, keep bacteria out of it until you can get back to the camp and properly clean the wound. Then another ingredient that I would like to recommend would be an antifungal. Let's see here. This is the product that I use here. And then another product that you may not think about, raw honey. Honey can be used to treat many wounds. It's antibacterial, it's antifungal. Bacteria will not grow if you put honey on a wound. It will not grow. You can boil honey down and treat a wound with it. It's nature's antibiotic. It has to be raw honey, because otherwise it'll be filtered and they'll filter out a lot of the good properties out of it. Then going back to treating cold and flu symptoms, I also have Hall's cough drops. But if you don't have that and you've got pineapple juice has been found in some cases to be more effective than cough syrup. And you can also gargle with it for a sore throat. Let me see if there's any, keeping your immunity up. You must have a multivitamin, because when the grid goes down, your diet's going to change. You're going to be eating different foods that can, like I said, give runaway bowels or whatever, or it could bound you up. But by eating different foods, you may not be getting the proper vitamins. So you want to have definitely a multivitamin and mineral supplement. If you're getting old like me, you'll want to have some turmeric for your joint health. Potassium, vitamin D for immunity. And then I also like Emergen-C 1000 milligrams. It's a powder put into a water bottle, shake it up, and gives you all the vitamin C that you need. Kind of picks me up a little bit. I'm trying to see if there's any other. Also, you're going to want to have some sort of oral antiseptic, okay? Because if you've ever had real toothache pain, that's debilitating. It takes the steam right out of you. So, and it will cause you where you won't eat properly because you'll be afraid to get anything in your mouth, which is going to affect your health. So for oral anesthetic, I recommend extra strength Orajel. And then if you're looking for a natural supplement, clove oil. I mean, this is very effective. Now, I've also heard, I haven't personally done it, that you can take a Advil gel cap, stick a hole in it with a toothpick, kind of squeeze that medicine out and dab that into the hole, and that would also give relief. Don't know if that's true, but that's just one of the things that I found in my research. Again, most of these items that I've demonstrated today are multi-use. Consult with your physician. Make sure that you have no allergic reaction to these. Do your own research. Learn the different things that you can do with each item. But what I just showed you is basic bread and butter, not meat and potatoes. Later, when you get into meat and potatoes, you're going to be dealing with natural healing things like healing herbs. You'll be dealing with essential oils and many other medicines. But go through your medicine cabinet now. Figure out what's going on. If you need to throw out some of the old, get in some new, definitely do that. And keep in mind that infection is going to enter your body in 3 ways. It's going to come in through 1, you're going to inhale it, and it's going to infect your lungs. 2, like a virus will. 2, you're going to ingest it in your food and water. Like cholera is a waterborne disease. There's many waterborne diseases if you're drinking contaminated water. E. coli, listeria, salmonella, common foodborne diseases. You'll need some sort of antibiotic to treat those. Those are easily treated, but you got to have the right things on hand, and you cannot take for granted you're going to be able to get these things later. Get out now and get it. Because like I said, China and India is a long way from here. If the supply chain gets broke, you're not going to be able to acquire these products. And with the shortages that are occurring due to the cyber attacks, I can tell you right now the prices on most of this stuff has gone up. When you get out there and you start buying it, you're going to get sticker shock. But get the products that work best for you with your health. You need things because of your age, whatever. Get all this stuff now. Don't wait till the last minute, and you're gonna feel a whole lot better having this stuff on hand. So can't think of anything else right now. So I hope this video helps you. Don't wait till the last minute. Get this stuff now, because the grid could go down anytime. We're not guaranteed no set time. And when it goes down, you're not going to have access to none of these products. So anything that gives relief, learn the ins and outs of it, learn the different things that you can treat with it, and let knowledge be your guide. So you guys have a wonderful day, and bye-bye.